Graham Royal. I'm a beekeeper. I've kept bees for about 30 years now, and more recently I've got a job as a bee inspector working for the National Bee Unit, which is part of the Department of Environment, and my role is to check on the health of bees across the whole of Cheshire. It's important that we have healthy bees in the countryside to pollinate all of the crops, but the government spends money to employ bee inspectors to ensure that we have good pollinators across the country. So these are some of my colonies here in the countryside. They're doing very well this year because we've got a good honey flow. When we're inspecting bees, one of the important things, of course, in terms of keeping them healthy is hygiene. And a very critical part of my role as bee inspector is to try and ensure that all the beekeepers in my area are dealing with their bees in a hygienic way. Hygiene is really quite important to ensure that any disease that might be in one colony doesn't get spread to another one. The last thing we want is to spread disease between our bees, and to be honest, it's beekeepers more than anything that do cause the spread of disease. So one thing that we can do is ensure that all of our equipment is clean, the hive tools and the smokers and our bee suits are kept clean. As part of my role, I'm trying to educate beekeepers in terms of hygiene and keeping everything clean so that we don't spread disease from one hive to another as we go around, and in particular gloves, hive tools, smokers, etc. need to be kept clean, as do bee suits. And one of the main ways of ensuring everything is clean is to use soda crystals. I keep my hive tool, etc. In a bucket of soda crystals, also of course referred to as washing soda. I've got a kilo of soda here in 5 litres of water, and that will keep any honey or propolis off the tools. It dissolves and removes all that mess, and so I'm not transferring it from one hive to another. I use latex gloves, rubber gloves, again to keep them clean. They're washable and disposable as well, so that helps with hygiene. And finally, my bee suit. When I've finished with it, that goes into the wash on a regular basis. In fact, as a bee inspector, it goes into the wash every day. And in the washing machine, I use not only normal soap powder, but also soda crystals, and I tend to put about half and half soda crystals and soap powder in the washing machine, and that removes any propolis and dirt off the suit as well.
Well, good afternoon. My name's John Hurd. You're here this afternoon at my small business. I'm a small commercial beekeeper, Watton Apiaries in northwest Leicestershire. Just to talk a little bit about what we do here, and also how important it is in commercial beekeeping for cleaning and cleanliness, which is very much part and parcel of what we have to do. You're here in my honey room. It's my food standard premises that we very happy to have received a 5-star rating on recently, and I just wanted to give a little bit of an idea as to some of the cleaning that we do and some of the products that we use as part of that process. As I say, commercial beekeeper, run around 100 to 150 colonies of bees, so fairly small in commercial terms, but far larger than your average amateur beekeeper. We do use dry pack product. We do use soda crystals in particular, because soda crystals are very useful in beekeeping because it dissolves wax and propolis pretty much instantly, and so therefore we do use a lot of it. And what I want to do this afternoon is just give you 1 or 2 examples of where we use that product and how well it works for us. Okay, here's one really good example. This is an apis melter made in Denmark, imported. This is used in commercial beekeeping. A lot of commercial beekeepers have got these. You can see it's a stainless steel box. This has been in use all season, and it's pretty mucky at the moment because of the fact that it's had wax and honey go through it for the entire season. What this gets used for is frames when they're extracted, before they're going to be extracted, get put onto this stainless steel structure here. The frames, this is an empty one, but the beeswax cappings are removed from the frames, and the beeswax cappings drop into the bottom of here. Heat is applied from a top and a bottom heater, and it separates the honey from the wax. 2 different temperatures used, first to get the honey off at a very low temperature, and then the wax is melted at the end of the season to melt the wax and then recycle it. And as you can see, it gets pretty filthy. what you see there is the product of a season's rendering down. So it looks pretty mucky at the moment, but this will be cleaned, and what I will do is we'll show you how, once it's been cleaned, the difference that using soda crystals make. All of this around the edge here, this is all propolis, which is bee glue, as it's fondly referred to, and that will just melt once we fill this up to the grid here. Very strong solution of soda in there, and then turn the heaters on, and the steam will melt anything that it doesn't touch, and it cleans it beautifully. This is, you're at the end of the season here. This is something we've already cleaned, I'm very pleased to say. This is our extractor, 36 frame radial extractor, big stainless steel vessel. Works in just the same way. It's got a heater at the bottom. We put around about 2 or 3 inches of water into the bottom of it, a very strong solution of soda crystals, and then leave it for an hour or so, and again the steam that permeates cleans it beautifully, and it's all been clean filmed out now because we only use it once a year, but this is spotlessly clean inside. There is not a bit of propolis. It's absolutely beautiful. Here we have buddy taps that we use in our bottling process, and again these get treated in much the same way. A weaker solution of soda goes into these to make sure they're absolutely clean, and then they're air dried. But again, the soda is part and parcel of making sure that all of the bits and pieces that you get within the honey are clean before we bottle another batch. Also, any utensils that we use during the process of scraping and cleaning out frames and what have you, they go into a bucket, very strong solution of soda that goes into here as well, and we leave it to soak. Now you can see that, you know, that's pretty mucky. It's been in soak overnight. Just give it a bit of a brush, and with the once it's had the soda crystals in soak, it just disappears. Same with any of the scrapers, that's been in a little bit longer, absolutely dissolved. All the propolis that was on there has disappeared. Again, hive tools, just the same thing. Use it for sterilising hive tools that we use. That one gets used in the honey room for splitting out frames. Absolutely marvellous stuff. We use it all the time, and you know, without having this, it would make our job a lot more difficult.